Whenever the call comes, you ensure that you are in touch with some scientists from the lab who are there, and no, you are already, and try to get that thing in the very beginning. If you are delaying the process, they might be no, they might have been tied up by then to with somebody else, and then even if you good idea, will not be able to have somebody from their side in the process. Then if you're in defense sector or in that kind of focus area you are targeting, you can apply for DRDO extramural research. I've listed some of the opportunities for women basically. Like there is a women wiser scheme, women involvement in science and engineering research. So this is open for all areas of STEM, and it will also support the basic things, whatever you need in the project. Then we have the scheme like Vidushi. So then you have this PDF scheme. So PDF is also one such good option where if you get connected with some professors in IITs or in ISCs and all, there is a better chance that you'll be able to get further proposals accepted. Then we have this early translator acceleration ETA grant by BIRAC. So though the deadlines are over, but I wanted to show you all this because next year when the call is coming, probably some of you might be interested in applying. Then we have some collaborative projects, like this is with Indo-German project. Then if you are in this water technology or water research, then you have this WARI scheme, Indo-US Science and Technology Forum basically. Deadline is over, but next year when it comes, you can apply. Similarly, PDF opportunities in France, you have Indo-France research project, Indo-Germany research project, Indo-Korean research project. Many are there, Indo-Australian are there. So if you see the focus areas, usually the same what we have in India, like One Health and climate change, early detection of important pathogens or emerging pathogens, development of new vaccines, AI for early diagnosis of important diseases, comprehensive studies on metabolic and cardiovascular diseases, and novel therapeutic and biological for emerging and important diseases, all those things. This is in healthcare. Similarly, one can target the marine science also. Then we have this Inspire Fellowship. Recently, it was over. Raman Research Fellowship from CSIR India. Indo-EU joint R&D proposal that again targets a lot of same areas like pandemic preparedness, response, brain disorders, biofuels, and healthy environmental friendly food by DB Union. Then we have this Ignition grant, big grant, which is called as big grant. Okay, so these are the opportunities listed in arts, probably which might not be required in this forum. So just to conclude at the end, always remember your case will be read by one or two experts in your field, but the others in judgment panel won't be experts. That is always there, right? So you must write, which is a common benefit for the people who are expert as well as for the non-expert people. And don't hesitate to ask the people to help you to improvise your proposal. If you feel there is anyone who can read, who can give the proper positive comments to improvise the project, don't be hesitant, just ask for the help. And make sure that the first page acts as a standalone summary of the entire proposal. The abstract part or the summary part is extremely important. Ensure that you have at least 2 to 3 paragraphs there, which neatly conveys everything, whatever there in the proposal. Then there are some tips, like writing proposals is a skill and which is developed over a period of time. So always keep writing. Start small, stay consistent and collaborate widely. It's a now there's a time of collaboration. So single projects are usually not recommended or approved from the agency. So ensure that you have some people in the project proposal. Be ethical, persistent and impact driven. And don't write something very hypothetical in the proposal. And a successful proposal will be conveying a clear idea, will have a structured vision and strong execution. So as I already mentioned, align your project with national missions, let us say AI mission or quantum mission or health or clean energy or something. Then build interdisciplinary and multi-institutional teams. Multi-institutional is preferred, and at least there should be 2 people from your institute as well. Okay? Focus on societal impact for rural people, for sustainability of India, then education for women. All these things we need to take care. For international proposals, show strong collaborations and deliverables. So if you are targeting these kind of proposals, the international collaborative proposals, ensure that you already have some kind of collaboration with the professor with whom you want to write a proposal. Okay. So that again can be shown only via, suitable publications or through some common activities, let us say workshop or something. Think, execute. If one doesn't succeed in first attempt, make another one. There is no shortcut for getting the proposals granted. Only thing is keep trying. You'll definitely be succeeded in some day. So all the very best, everyone. If there are any questions, I'll be happy to answer. Hello, ma'am.
Thank you for your enriching, enlightening lecture on how to prepare the funded proposals. And you had also given an overview of what are the available funding agencies that our young researchers can apply. Surely we will approach you if we have any doubts, and we will be looking forward to collaborate with the Department of ECE from IIITBM. Thank you so much, ma'am, for your time and for accepting our invitation.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
So are we ready to start the second session on international funding agencies? Our speaker is respected Dr. Susan Madam. She is the Director of Research from Hindustan Institute of Technology and Science. Ma'am, you can... I will. So I welcome ma'am, and she is happy to do an introduction. So let us all give a big round of applause to Dr. Susan Madam. So good morning, everyone.
I'm very happy to do an offline session after, most of the sessions we accept online because it's easier and all that. After long, I'm doing an offline session. I'm very happy to see all your faces and I'll share whatever knowledge or expertise I have. I see that average age is around 30, 35 here, and I hope that some of the experiences I share will help you to strategize your career in a better way. So while Deepa ma'am downloads the slides, I have just put together some kind of points that will help me to bring out some very valuable thoughts that I can share with you. Okay, so it is not an exhaustive list of what all you can do in this field or anything, just some examples of how you can strategize in a particular aspect. Okay, so when my slides open up, you can see that. So just to briefly introduce myself, I'm Susan Elias. I'm currently the Director of Research at Hindustan Institute of Technology and Science, our sister institution, KCG Tech's sister institution. I joined here in October 2024, so it's just about 9 months. And prior to this, I was in VIT Chennai in multiple roles. And the last role was Dean School of Electronics. I've got nothing to do with electronics, but that's how VIT operates. I'm a pure computer science faculty, but I was a Dean School of Electronics. So I learned a lot, and that gave me the confidence to be the director of research because I had the experience outside my terrain and so on. So I had multiple roles at VIT, which gave me research, admin, all kinds of experience. Prior to that, I was in Venkateshwara Engineering College, SVC, Sri Perumbudur, for almost 20 years. So this is my background. So I have about 34 years of teaching experience, and I have, in these 30 years, completed 5 DRDO funded projects as principal investigator. So it's the first project which is difficult. So for many of you, once you get the first project, the second, third, fourth, fifth will just follow till you say, enough, I don't want anymore. That's how, it easy it is. Only the first project is difficult. You need the right advice and the right strategy to get to the first. So the first one with regard to international is what I'm strategizing here. But considering your age, I'm just assuming that you'll have not done any project at the national level as PI. You may be co-PI or something, or maybe you are also, I'm not sure. But it's important to do a national level project first. And there are lots of opportunities today for young Inspire. You saw some list, which even the previous speaker was talking about. So that said, you should aspire for that. That is a stepping stone. And that's when you can actually aim higher. But sometimes, one bumper lottery will come your way. You will get one opportunity, just jump into the bus and run with some team which takes you along. Maybe there's a team of very busy professors from IIT combination, and they see you as a potential. You'll do all the work, just accept to do all the work, writing proposals, everything, and the process. You are in the team because you're ready to do a lot of work, and just for that reason they keep you there. But in the process, you get, a kind of a bumper lottery opportunity to get into a big grant. Okay, so that is, there are 3 ways to get into all this. One is luck. Luck is opportunity meeting preparedness. Second is hard work. And the third one is smart work. Okay, so I'm going to tell you about the smart work because, it is only smart work which brought me, took me through all the opportunities that I got and so on. Okay, so next slide. Can I operate the slides? No. Okay, no problem. I can just tell you next slide, then you can change it. Okay, next slide. So I'm going to cover a research grant. So even when you look at international funding, there are different types of funding. One is pure research grant. You are the PI, you find a PI in another country, and then you do. Just like you do in India, you are the PI, you apply to DRDO. You are the PI, you apply to. But this is slightly different. You need 2 PIs across 2 countries. So I'll tell you a little bit. We'll take 1 or 2 examples. The second one is a consortium or a collaborative call. This requires a a different approach. Okay, so it is nothing like you have to do a research grant, then be eligible for two. You can straight away attack any one of these four categories. And for one of these four categories, the strategy is different. Okay, what you have to do over the next 1 year, 2 years, 3 years to eventually get successful is different for all the four. Okay, slightly different. There will be common things, but there are slightly different things you have to do. Strategy. Everything is strategy. Okay, so we look at one of the examples of some open research grants. Open meaning, I think the deadline is July 31st or September, October, the ones which are open, because after this session, you want to go back and read more details, the call is open. Okay, so actually read. So I'm just taking examples of open research grants, some on collaborative calls. And then for 3 and 4, I have a very good success story of an example of how we were successful. We meaning Hindustan Institute of Technology and Science, a team was successful. So at the time when you always thought that only IITs are getting all the grants, there was a time when Hindustan University were successful with big grants in the category 3 and 4. There I'm just going to show you some example of how Hindustan were lucky to get that. Again, they did a lot of hard work, but it just came like that. In a totally unexpected moment, the collaboration just clicked and then it went on. And now they are asking us, can we submit the next proposal? So the first one is difficult. After that, they'll come after you, if that is the quality of work that you deliver. Next slide. So everything is about strategies. Okay, it is not any rule book. The ma'am told it has to be done, like nothing like that. It's just strategy, which some I tried, some I heard from others who were successful. These are not things written anywhere. It's just told, you have to understand between lines. Okay, now 2 things you have to do as a homework. Next slide. 2 things you have to do if you're thinking about international. Okay, one is you should be thorough with current affairs, particularly international politics. Okay, you can't be a friend of a professor of a country where the prime ministers are not friends. You get my point. You have to see where literally at one time, every day I'll see where is our Prime Minister Modi going. If Modi is going to this country, then I'll get ready to write some proposal or something for that country. At one time, now this third term, I don't know, he's busy with something, but second term was fully about that. He goes to Germany and come back, next call from Germany. He goes to Turkey, next call. Goes to Israel, call. So you have to follow the foreign minister, the foreign ministry team. What are they doing? What are they signing? What is MOU? How much of money? In what? All of them are signing, about climate change and all these kind of things. So all these strategies, you have to understand current affairs. So how much you already know, how much you have to learn, that is your ability. Okay, so instead of simply looking at YouTube reels and Insta posts, you better dedicate 1 hour to just read about foreign policy. Okay, that is very, very crucial. If you go to the website, the Indian government website, they have officially signed this MOU with 80 countries. Okay, I know that a lot of visits happened over the last 10 years and all that, but 80 countries. So from that list of countries only, you must choose. The calls will come only from that 80 countries. Okay, so that is strategy 1. Okay, 80 is a good enough base for you to find a friend. Okay, through LinkedIn. Or there's another strategy to find a friend. I'll tell you about that. So this is step 1. You have to dedicate 1 hour every day. The recent announcement by Trump, it's not about Indo-US. Because of that, there'll be the friends of US and the friends of India. So our enemy is also a US enemy, and our friend is also US friend. So that you must look at that logic of A to B, B to C. So A and C are enemies or friends. Okay, so you have to see beyond this paperwork that is happening, and you see whether this country will support research in India and so on. Okay, the next very important thing for you to be thorough with is the budget announcements every year. Okay, when Nirmala Sitharaman is live watching the budget, I will have a team writing notes about what all proposals we'll get ready with. Okay, in fact, when I was in DIT, Dean School of Electronics, in the budget, when she made announcement, there itself we started writing a proposal for 5G lab. And we were one of the 100 to get the 5G lab. So that, you should be quick because India is a huge 1.4 billion people are there. And every announcement, so many people are attacking that. Okay, so you should be the fastest and you should be the best. It's not about the speed. You should be very good, should be competitive, better than the IITs, and you should also be very quick in doing all this. So you have to follow up what was announced. So the budget was not far away. Go back, if you've not read it, go back and see what all are the areas where the government is going to put their money in. Earlier, I think a lot of money the previous year, if you see, was put into drone technology. There was drone Mahakumbh, drone, everything was drone some 2-3 years back. But today, if you look at the Indo-Pakistan war, the success was defined by the drone technology India had. But with drones, we cannot fight with countries far away. Pakistan, we can win with drones. But now, what is India immediately focusing on? Missiles. Okay, so missile programs. In fact, tomorrow there's a DRDO scientist coming, spending the whole day with us writing proposals on. So India wants to make lightweight missiles, new materials, solid liquid propellants, everything new. They want to look at different aspects of missiles. So now the money is in missiles. That doesn't mean only aeronautical people can do. There's so many aspects to the missile technology, controls, electronics, computer science, AI, material science, a lot of mathematics. Everyone can be submit a proposal. I'm not talking about the regular ISRO, and here we are focusing on the international funding. But what I was talking about, you have to understand where India is putting its money, because the first step for you to become an expert is by taking the money which is locally available. So if Indian government recognized you, then an international body will recognize you. So that is trying to say, see, I done 5 DRDO projects. That, any meeting I introduce that way, it just gives me an edge always, particularly when you've done defense projects, they value it very high. Okay, so you must know what you should do in your local network, so that people can very quickly infer that you are a good academician. You are others. How will they know? You just introduce yourself. So you should have some backing work. That backing work is this fund which is available for you within the country. Okay, for that you must be thorough with the budget. So budget announcement this year was quantum. That was last year actually. So India is focusing on quantum. They're focusing on missiles. They're focusing on underwater technology. Anything underwater, from communication to anything, all the vehicles, swarm intelligence, control algorithms, quantum key distribution, everything. So they want to develop their defense power underwater, because obviously India has so much of water body around it. Okay, so keep that in mind. Okay, so it is very important to listen to Trump every day or listen to Modi every day and go back and make your notes, have a diary and make your notes. And this is very, very important. Okay, next slide. So let's look at research grants. Okay, so next slide. So this page will give you the active calls from DST. Now, in this page, they have mixed up the Indian calls and the international calls and everything. I'll take up 1 or 2 calls and that we are writing now. We're going to submit by month end, and I'll tell you what is the difficulty, what are the challenges we face, what is the problem, how we should have been prepared, what is the problem with this Indian government, the way they announce all those, what we can do, what we can't do, all these kinds. So within what we can do, what we should do, and so on. Okay. So I'll take 1 or 2. So if you see here, there is the Indo-Tunisia call. So you wonder, what is this? From where did India go and pick up this Tunisia of all countries in the world? But for you, it is, you don't bother about all these things. It's an opportunity for an international collaboration. Okay, let it be any country. The less prominent country, the greater your competition and the greater the chance for you to go and compete, because the IIT professors only want Japan, US, and all these fancy places, and Tunisia and all that. They were not very interested, but that will be very interesting for you to work with, because they'll value your contribution a lot more. So we look at India, Tunisia, we look at India, Japan, we look at India, Sweden. These 3 calls we'll take, for example, and also there's also Indo-Taiwan call, which is open, and so on. Okay, next slide. So this is India, and you see on the left side a white patch, northern part of Africa, That is Tunisia. Okay. So next slide. So first thing you should do is when you see one unheard of country like this, go and study the map of the country. Okay. So what I'm saying, this is all strategy. It's not about take one proposal, okay, this thing, write one, read 10 papers, write a proposal. Not like that. Okay. So this is just one 50th of the size of India. So if you look at the terrain, try to understand the terrain. They have mountains. You see the brown area. They have desert. The Sahara Desert is in this south part. Then they have coastal area. So they also have a good coast. Okay, so coast connection is there, India. Because I'll tell you about some other strategies that we're doing for local funding, which can lead to international funding. I'll tell you another example if time permits. I'll add that example about aquaculture. So here you understand, and you stare at this map and then try to think, okay, why this India-Tunisia connection? Why did somebody even bring up this fund? Is India going to benefit, or Tunisia going to benefit, or both countries going to benefit? So you have to try to think, on the lines of the people who actually formulated thing and think, why is this fund actually brought up? So to align with that next slide, they generally give you some topics, okay, open calls. Now the problem with this open call is when the call opens, now this India-Tunisia call, I went and read the history just to share with you all. This was signed in 1995. Okay, so between 1995 and the many trade, they signed a general MOU. I think Indira Gandhi went and signed it or something like that. Okay, so there were many trade and all those kind of things. Finally, in 2019, there was one call. That call was for AI, healthcare, some, whatever was generally done around the world at that time. Prior to that, there was one specifically for development of vaccine. In African countries, they have yellow fever and all that. So for vaccine development, there was one call I saw. Then 19, there was one call. So very random. So now supposing I tell you, okay, this call is ending in is ending this month end. Get ready for the next Indo-Tunisia call. So what are the things you'll do? You'll try to find a good peer faculty who can be the PI. For that, it is best to take faculty from the top 3 universities there. So you go search, find it and all. But Indo-Tunisia is a call which comes once in 5 years, 6 years. It's really, it was your background process and just keep working with somebody, publish some papers and so on. But what will happen is when they give the call, it will be in some area which you're not working. Okay, so this I raised with the government officials who came recently for a visit. There was an Indo-Australia call. We do have good collaborations with Australian teams, but the call was specifically in drug discovery, bio waste management. I think it was a DBT call, biotech call. So what happened is though we kept connected with Australia, that open call will give you a theme. So I told the government official, how do we know, if I have to connect with Tunisia, how do I know which field I connect? The Indian government officials, they say, you can call and ask us, we'll tell you what is coming up and things like that. I don't know, that didn't seem very professional to me. But this is what I call luck. Okay, supposing you are working with somebody in Tunisia, you had a friend here who went to Tunisia and she's working, and it just so happened that you're working on geospatial technology, then that is your opportunity meeting preparedness, because your proposal will be even better than any IITian's proposal, though IIT is a brand for him, but you were ready with the project. Okay, so if you ask me how to strategize, I really don't know. Okay, because it's just luck. So as a director of research, I'm making sure I have a good coverage across all countries. I'll tell faculty, you connect here, you connect here. So it is not very faculty specific thing. As a university, I'll be lucky. Here, I get some projects. But if I look at you, I told you, okay, you do Tunisia, and then you'll ask me, ma'am, when will Tunisia come? I'm sitting and waiting. But I would have got my targets as a director of research, because I'm throwing stones across 80 countries. So I want it to be very specific to faculty. Faculty's growth is very important for institutions' growth. So that, if you look at next slide, so even this is very important. Please choose in any country, please choose only top 3 or 5 universities of that country. If you look at the universities in Tunisia, there's one in north, Tunis, that is QS World Ranking 771. The top institution there. Okay. So most of the institutions, when they try to collaborate, like when we want to collaborate, we like to collaborate somebody who's higher QS ranking. They also want higher than them. So somewhere we have to settle at somewhere in the same band or higher. So why would they choose somebody lower than them? Because the value of what you bring to the table is higher. You understand? So you just don't worry about your institution having a low rank. Don't worry about that. Your personal brand, you can just, it is in your hands. Okay, they'll just grab you for your personal brand. Okay, so that is something you have to be very smart in establishing. Like, don't go to Australia and take some unheard of universities, Melbourne. You have to look. That strategy also, I'll tell you. You have to go to the results are announced. All the PDF files are there. Go there, write the names of the universities which have already got the grant. Only go and connect with those universities, because all your hard work will go waste, because whatever it is, they go by the brand of the university sometimes. Okay. So next slide. So Indo-Japan. So Indo-Tunisia, the problem is competition will be less, but we don't know when it will come next and all. But Indo-Japan, Indo-Taiwan, all these are every year, and highly competitive. But again, it's okay. You have to go and study what happens in Japan. So if you, what is the first thing that will come to your mind when you think of Japan? Automobile, technology. More suggestions? First thing. Okay, in the news every day you're getting earthquakes. How many earthquakes? Some 1,000 quakes or tremors they felt in an island recently. In fact, last month, I just went on a holiday. Not last month, in April, I went on a holiday to Japan. You go there, it's a totally different study of the whole place, the culture, the requirement. It's very different. Whatever you all said, no, they don't care about all that. Their problems in life are very, very different. It's very interesting to collaborate. So I simply loved Japan for their discipline. After coming back, I want to learn Japanese, because I simply liked their script. Of course, Chinese is more like, one chaos, but Japanese, even if you look at their script, I liked the mainly because of the discipline, everything very nice. So I was very impressed with Japan. I want to learn Japanese and a lot of stuff. Then when I came back, I realized Tamil Nadu has got, leave India, Tamil Nadu has got very good relationship with Japan. There are 350 companies around Chennai itself, Japanese companies. So if you know Japanese, you may not know Japanese today, but you can collaborate with them. So they're very humble, they're very quiet, very hardworking, very interesting. I think you should reach out to them, because the discipline and everything, you really love working with them. So the problems in Japan, of course, earthquake, all these kind of things. I mean, they do a lot of research and materials and things like that, all because the biggest problem are these earthquakes. Next slide. But if you look at the open call, okay, the call is now open. If you have some friends and all, just give it a try. Writing the proposal itself is a good experience. Simply make friends with somebody, but they don't make friends very easily. Anyway, try your luck in your own way and try to make friends. And but very surprisingly, though the biggest problem is earthquake, if you look at the open calls, very generic, okay, like physical sciences, chemical science, life science, agriculture, mathematics, computation science, astronomy, earth science, materials, and engineering. So they are attacking the problem more at a fundamental level, not really at the surface level and so on. Okay, so they want to, if you want to advance research, you have to work at the foundation. You want more robotic advancements, you need new materials, because you've reached a kind of saturation point. So the strategy of Japan is more fundamental research, is what I observe. For many years, if you see, you go back and see last year before last, it's all roughly the same. One or two words is slightly different. So they have the word agriculture, aquaculture, and all these kind of. So I thought I'll connect over aquaculture, because we also have a huge coastline. Being in Chennai, we have a huge coastline, and we have been collaborating with the aquaculture industry. from Hindustan, we had an MOU. Then we've renewed the MOU, and we got a BIRAC funding now of 1.6 crores, collaboration with SIBA, which is a Central Institute of Brackish Water Aquaculture. And so I was just thinking, Japan is all around water. They're completely living on seafood and all these kind of things. So for aquaculture, it's a very good. So aquaculture comes under agriculture and so on. So first, establish your footprint here, which is very easy. You're just there, it's just a walking distance from here. The whole aquaculture industry is starting from here. Very interesting. Automation has not touched this industry, at least in India. And even in Japan, I went and observed how they oyster farming, this farming, that farming. It's lot of it. Rural Japan is very, very like rural India. I mean, rural India is more advanced than rural Japan. So, visiting a country will give you a very good idea. You can go and you can meet the professors, understand the culture, the ground truth. That is a very different feeling. If you have, if you have a aspiration to travel and all that, align your travel with some country where you can possibly, do a funding call in the next call. Indo-Taiwan, so Japan also comes every year. Okay, so be ready. With a very good funding, make friends with somebody, and then just try. Just give it a try. 2-3 years, you write. You will definitely be successful if you focus on it. Indo-Taiwan, we have some Indo-Taiwan projects going on in Hindustan, and so these kind of projects. So when one team has an Indo-Taiwan project, during the visit of the Taiwan team to our campus, the next team makes friends with them. And the next round of projects, you understand? So that the leader team in every institution, you'll have at least 4 or 5 people who are like legends in research. Okay, position them to get the first round of funding. I mean, business strategy as director, researcher, any of you are in those lead positions. Take those 5 people, make heroes or heroines out of them, bring international people to your campus. Then when they come to campus as part of that project, make the next round of people to present to them and so on. So that way, we had a very good interaction session with the Taiwan team, and they were very impressed. We didn't ask them. They asked, would you all like to apply for the next round funding? They asked our team, and some of them are going to be applying. Now, this is a fund given by the Indian National Academy of Engineering. And you see the priority areas are very broad again, but also well defined. Okay, not like physical sciences, not so broad like how Japan gave, not so fundamental also. But here, as you can see, Taiwan is known for their semiconductor, green manufacturing technologies. So you wonder, why does Taiwan want to collaborate with India? They are the world's best in semiconductor. So in this collaboration, India stands to gain. So in Indo-Tunisia, this Tunisia stands to gain. Okay, in Indo-Taiwan, particularly for semiconductor and green manufacturing, it is our advantage, our requirement that we collaborate. Okay, so try to understand the hidden meaning behind this collaboration. But why would Taiwan want to collaborate with India on drug development, bio? There's places where India. So if you see this list, certain things India is advanced, certain things Taiwan is advanced. So they put this team together. Okay, they put this group together. So it's up to you. If you want to throw some technology at Taiwan, then your tone of your proposal should be different. If you want to be the recipient, the tone should be different. Okay, so this you have to understand and write it accordingly. See, Taiwan has a lot of technology, but they don't have population at all. If you, they're willing to give $500 for students living expense, and they want students. They come and say, "Ma'am, please send students." So you can send your students. You connect with Taiwan professors. That is the first step. So just very informally. You just send them a mail, send the profile. They will select the students. Students can go for summer internship. They will pay the, I think airfare students are today, living expenses they keep. So that's a good start for you. Students get a good exposure and so on. So that way, there's a lot of funding those professors have in their hand where they can let out for small travel grants. Your PhD scholars and all can travel. So this, they also, very interesting is they also open up calls for this is again through the Indian Council of Social Sciences. So those who are here, non-engineering fields, we have very active team in commerce, economics. First time in my role earlier, I was just stuck to engineering and really enjoying the activities of economics, commerce, liberal arts, all these right now in my current role, and very interesting projects they are already doing, ICSSR projects, and this is an Indo-Taiwan project. The next slide. So if you look at the list, they have included even linguistics, literature, cultural studies, history, Buddhist studies, philosophy, AI and society, very generic things, okay? But this is a small fund, 12 lakhs. There are only 5 projects they will give all over India. So it's very competitive, but that is why you should know how to strategize, okay? So this proposal, either it should be useful to Taiwan, or it should be useful to India, or it should be useful to both, okay? Only then they will select and they look at the deliverables and so on. So the next category is this consortium and collaborative calls. So if you look at an open call right now, next slide, there is this very interesting call by DST. It is by the subdivision Climate, Energy and Sustainable Technologies called CEST. And they first announced this call called Carbon Capture, Utilization, Deployment in Steel Sector. A national call was announced. After 2-3 weeks, this call is still open, okay? I mean, the deadline was June 2023, and they shifted it to July 20. They extended it, okay? Just towards the closing date of that, they announced a second call in the same thing, and this is an India-Sweden call, again for decarbonization of steel and cement sectors, okay? Now, just go to the next slide. So what is the problem in this? I hope all of you are aware about carbon capture, carbon offset, carbon footprint. To attack the climate issues, you have to suppress the carbon, offset the carbon, utilize the carbon, and so on. So luckily, we have a very good team, and we just recently started. We have 16 research and skill centers in Hindustan Institute of Technology on our campus. And the recent 2 centers added, one is for hydrogen generation and carbon utilization. So we have this team who are just talking about technology, and we were talking to automobile industries, different industries. Suddenly this call came, okay? So I'll tell you the problem with this call. This call expects 2 things. One is when you submit the proposal, one steel industry should have given an acceptance letter saying they're willing to offer their steel plant for the pilot study of your technology. I would say our technology, we got our team to present our carbon capture technology to many people in India, top officials from many industries, and they simply said it was fantastic, one of the best team presentations, because that team is from Taiwan, postdocs, very good research team we have. So everyone said this carbon capture technology is very good. But what is the problem? We need a steel industry to say, okay, all the steel industry, so say there are any proposal, okay, when I look at the results of the proposal, I will see that there were 150 proposals received and 10 were selected. 100 on an average, okay, all over India, any call, there's a standard 175, 150. This is the competition level. In that 5 will be selected, 10 will be selected, and so on. So assuming there are 150 proposals going from academia, there are 10 steel industries. So what happens? Your application will be accepted only if there is a steel industries letter. So how many applications can be submitted? 10. You understand? And this is absolutely such a flaw in the system. So why is it a flaw? Because steel industry, IIT approached Tata. So we were talking to Tata. Tata really liked this thing. And then IIT went and asked them, they had to say yes. So they said yes for IIT. Then we went to next steel industry, Jindal, Salem Steel, every steel industry. Then they tell us this IIT asked us, that IIT asked us all. And then they tell us that they didn't even present their technology to us, and your technology was fantastic. We still want to work with you. You understand? So they see the value, but then IIT is a brand. So so now the government is going to get proposals from 10 steel industries with letters, but the technology is not going to be the best. What the government should have done? First, academia, all of you submit your technology. Select the best 10 and tell all the steel industries, come on, make it compulsory. Those who don't do carbon capture, put fine $500 million fine. All the fellows will come running and line up to take the technology. So government selects the best 10 and gives it to the state. This is what government should do. But because government didn't do this, we are still asking them, can you? So right now we're still talking to some steel industries and telling them, so we are just going to submit the proposal saying, nobody is accepting us. What can we do? But this is a technology, take it if you want. But, so this is some problems in the system. So this is the Indian call. Just go to the previous slide. No, previous to this. So I was talking about the problem in this national call. A second problem in the first thing is the steel industry must give a letter saying that they will put 30% of the total cost of if the project is like 10 crores, they will put 30% of the 10 crores from their side. So, to pass such a thing, they need time also. So the call is announced 1 month before. So 1 month is not enough for the steel industry to go to the board and get it passed and all that. So it's all prefixed combinations, prefixed. IIT and Tata, but we get the proposal. Okay, so this is not something, what we can't do, talk about it. But quickly the second call came. When we saw the second call only needs a letter from a steel industry, and it does not require the steel industry to commit to 30%. It doesn't need. Okay, and now in this call, there's no restriction that it should be only from one steel. So I think the Indo-Sweden call is much easier than the India call. You understand? So it's all strategy. Okay, so the time is very short when you have to go to the industry. These are all big grants. Okay, so if you are connected with carbon capture, try to find out some groups which are applying for this. Stay connected. Try to be a co-PI. Request. You will get those kind of opportunities. If you're willing to do all the work, they will allow you to be the co-PI. Okay, so this Indo-Sweden call is something which we are now. Trying to tune it towards and submit that and leave the national call. I don't know. Sometimes it's all again strategy, which we will learn, and maybe after 1 year, after results come, I'll be able to tell you a story of what worked and what didn't work and so on. Okay. So next slide. So decarbonization is something you must study. So now this call was for steel industry. Next, and if you saw that Indo-Sweden call, they also gave it for the cement industry. So you go and you see why the steel industry featured and why the cement industry. They are the largest, they are the big heavyweight industries which are actually destroying our climate. Okay, it is not this small, we do sustainability, we can tell everybody put all the garbage in the dustbin. And this is not going to make a big difference. It is the steel industries who have to learn to produce green steel and use green hydrogen and all these kind of techniques, move to other technologies where they don't harm our environment. So government is targeting these big players who are damaging the environment. Go and study and see which is the next industry going to feature. I feel the next call will be carbon capture in any industry. Okay, steel cement. So go and get hold of industry, start talking to them. So what will happen? The call will come, there'll be only 1 month, nobody will have the time, but you would have been smart and you would have already had a letter from them, some publications, some ongoing work in. So similarly, we are trying to do with aquaculture industry and so on, trying to make it a net zero. Look at net zero and decarbonization. Okay, so go and try to understand what is decarbonization, carbon offset, carbon utilization, all these kind of technology. It requires computer science. It requires all branches of engineering, including economics and so on. Okay, so try to get into these. This is a big opportunity because all countries are interested in these kind of decarbonization projects. Okay, next slide. Now, very important aspect of strategy is going and studying who got the grant. Okay, now if you look at this, the announcement of the result for the joint project, India-Italy project, the results are there. The India-Austria project, the result is there. Indo-Japan last year's, okay, the results are there. Go to the next slide. I just took the end of this list. You see, till 2018, the complete results of who got it is there. 2-3 takeaways from these study of result analysis is: one, just go and look at the title of the proposals. It is not about simple things like image processing in aerospace. Not something very, very basic. The research will be very basic, but the title is very, very fancy. Go and see. So what you can study is how to write a title, how to write a winning proposal title. Okay, go and do your homework. This is only smart work. I don't call this even hard work. It's reverse engineering these techniques. Go and look at all the titles. One paragraph it will be each title. The second thing is look at the universities. Which one? Ignore the India. Look at the other industries. Which one? India, because they don't get any good strategized proposals from private universities, so they're giving IIT. India is waiting for a chance to give proposals to non-IITians, non-central government. They are looking for as much as we are looking for proposals from private institutions. They are also looking for good teams to give funding away. Okay, so don't be disheartened. If you look at the India list, you will be disheartened. But I'm going to show you an example of how some big grants Hindustan University had got, again, because it was just luck. So go and study this, particularly the title, and write down the names of all the universities which already got a grant, and please apply only with those professors in those universities. Don't experiment with a new university. Okay, we don't know the background of the university, and the political alignment of the universities also we don't know. Next slide. So for 3, capacity building and mobility schemes. So capacity building is more about building infrastructure, building skills, and also for mobility, our students going there, their students coming here. The capacity meaning it's also about sharing knowledge-based training sessions and all these. So this fund is something easy to get. They won't look at what is your H index, what is your publication. They don't look at all that. You have a very good team skill. Your plan is very good itself. You can be. So this is a good entry point for you to try. Okay, this is how we made the entry point. Okay, that is in Hindustan University. The next one is about, next slide, bilateral and multilateral programs. So this also, for these two, I'll show you an example of what happened with the Hindustan University story. So before I close this slides, I wanted to even explore these kind of opportunities. These are something you can plan ahead. This Asian, basically it's Brunei, Cambodia, Indonesia, Malaysia, Myanmar, Philippines, Singapore, Thailand, Vietnam. These are all very easy to access. Okay, you find teams from these universities and apply. So this, I know a lot of people have been. India is not part. This is Southeast Asian countries. India is South Asian, not Southeast. Okay, so this is a very good. I know for many years it's there. You can quietly sit down, build your, because people have moved into much more fancier grants and all that. So these things still exist. So you can try this. Next. So these calls, some of these calls are round, some are the specific calls. Next slide. So this BRICS is another one. I saw some of the ones featured in the previous speakers list. So these are all the ones you can try because they've been there for many years. Every year there's a call, sometimes once in 2 years. Now this India European Union is the call for which a university was successful. I'll tell you so European Union has a lot of, so you have to go to this international cooperation division slide, and then you can put, if you see that regional bilateral partnerships, on top, if you click on that, you will see the names of the 80 countries where India government has their MOUs. From that only you should make your plan. So this EU grant is also a very interesting grant. You can, you have to go and study the success stories, how they did. You see a particular project was successful, go and study from the college website what they did and so on. That is also another funding for which Hindustan University successfully got, despite the heavy competition with IITs and all that. So I'll tell you about the DAD story as well. This is also very lightweight. It's not like very cutting edge research where you should have had some breakthrough. It's just very interesting, a plan of how you will do the exchange. And this is where I feel private universities have an edge, because IIT totally on the campus, they have only 4,000 students. But, in our universities, we have huge number, like at least in VIT, when I was the Dean School of Electronics, you have 3,000 students in the School of Electronics itself. And totally IIT has only that many students. So we have that huge numbers. So that's when these kind of grants become more impactful, because we reach larger number of students. That is our edge when it comes to all these kind of things. So there is these newer grants coming up every year. You should look at these grants. The next one, all these European Union. Also, this Horizon, we are again submitting. We may be submitting this year. This is a called big grant. Everybody is trying to join up and submit. This is also European Union and Erasmus. Erasmus, you all must be knowing, in some institutions you studied and all, they would have been one room with Erasmus funding and so on. So this is a very doable fund, but you need to form a team with, there's some Sri Lankan, some college from Maldives who told me we 2 times were successful with Erasmus. Would you like to join? So some 7 countries together, they submit some kind of exchange. Very easy to do. Just have to make friends. For that, you have to go to all. Where is the starting point? Go for all these edu expos where international universities come. That was the lucky move that Hindustan made, and I'll just talk about. So try to make friends and start the student exchange, this kind of lightweight activity, and slowly you can move into research. Next slide. I think you have to open the. Is there a next slide? It's the last slide. Open the next one, which is HITS DAD. So I'll show you 2 examples of. So in 2018, there was an expo in Chennai. Okay, that was called the Physista. That is this automobile expo, which happens around the world. In 2018, it happened in Chennai Trade Center. Okay, and Hindustan University was one of the edu partners. I think many of your universities, when it has education, in Chennai Trade Center, you would have had a stall, you would have gone and been there. It was one lucky day like that in 2018, when Hindustan University had funded or sponsored, or was one of the sponsors of. So when you are the sponsor, what happens? You're given a slot to make a presentation about your university. Okay, so in fact, in December, I went for the THE Times Higher Education International Conference, where we had a stall. And lunchtime, when everybody is eating, you can play videos of your university. Okay, so I had also been there, and we had played universities, and genuinely people came and met us seeing that video and so on. That's all. You only get a lunchtime slot. So something similar to that, there was some lunchtime slot where they played a video in 2018 during the expo. And this professor from Trier, it's given there, Trier University of Applied Sciences, Germany, they were very impressed with that video. It was about our students, automobile students, creating those they in-house, they do all those vehicles and all that, no? And they came and said, we really liked these students. We also on the same line of thought process. Can we collaborate? They came and asked us. So we said, okay, next slide. And with that, we got this project. It was actually a 3 crore project. Okay, so this was a DAD project. As I showed you the slides, right? DAD project for exchange. So this was a DAD project. Next slide. So next slide. So through this project, they were able to convert. So though this DAD project is done at IITs and all these places, what happened is it was Hindustan University for the first time. In fact, they also mentioned it, used that opportunity to produce 2 PhD here, 2 PhD that side, and they did a very good research project which they deployed in Toyota there. They did a research project here. Here they were supposed to do some traffic analysis. By the time COVID hit, and so they couldn't complete many of it, but they used the opportunity to take it to the next level. That is only for cultural exchange, but they used that opportunity to do a joint research. published 15 papers, did everything which even dad never expected, because all these universities normally they connect with is all IITs. IIT dad is yet another thing. They have 500 projects, is that. But for Hindustan University, it was like it was like getting one bumper lottery, and they went out of the way to really impress upon dad, and show the next slide. So these are all you can see the activities. This was, this is that physicist. This is where that lucky moment when the professor comes to our stall and asks, "Would you like? Can we work with you?" And they had a very good influence with dad, and it was just history after that. You can change the slide. So all these were the meetings, and everything they led us into this. Next slide. So you can see all the meetings that we had in Germany. Our faculty went, students went. In fact, we're still in touch with Professor Peter and all those people listed there. These are all the students who went. And some of the students who came here. This was some of the activities. So the smart transportation infrastructure, they developed a product, they delivered here and as well as there. They carried out this project. Next slide, and lots of lectures, lots of activities. Next generation mobility. And then I think they visited here, KCG College. This was in 2019, I think. Then these were the research scholars. They went on excursions. You see how it opened up, okay? And it went on to such a wonderful point that the success, that is, we did what we need not have done. But because of that, we got the next project, which was by European Union. So the first one was just luck. A professor walked into a stall. Using that, we proved ourselves, and the next project, they were applying, they put our names, and we got the second project, which was 20,000 euros, I think, the next one. So this is all part of the previous one, signing those MOUs. Next. Yeah, this is during their visit. So they did a lot of projects. Next. You can glance through all the activities which happen. So, one opportunity can be a true game changer in your institution and for yourself and so on. So this was part one. Okay, part one of the story is this mere exchange which we used to our advantage. And then came the second project. The second project is called IURC. Next slide. There is one slide which explains what is it. So this IURC is the second European Union scheme for which we got 20,000 euros funding. Next slide is this title. So this was about pairing two cities. So we took the trial city and we took Chengalpet district and we paired these cities and did a lot of, so you see this biogas plant. So though we took Chengalpet city as a city to make it kind of net zero and sustainable, all those pilot projects were done in our university. So seeing this work, they were so impressed that they are now going to extend it for another 2 years. So you see, like how I told you, I got my first DRDO project with a lot of hard work and a lot of prayers and everything. And finally, when I did my fifth project, I told the DRDO scientists, enough, I don't want this. They said, no, ma'am, please do it. You reach that point. Even now we finished this project, but what I understand is they're going to give us extended by another 2 years. While for that, they themselves have again put our name and submitted for the next round. And Erasmus they've submitted a team. Once they like you, they feel you're genuine, you're hard work, you deliver, they won't let go of you. It's that first lucky break that you will get only if you go to Chennai Trade Center or somewhere. You will not get it from your staff room, go to class, go to the bus, go home. You will not get that. You have to go out and meet people. You'll never know who you meet, where you meet. You can never guess that. Okay, next slide. So we did this biogas plant. We did the solar plant. We did all these other projects. And then we presented and they were very impressed. I think the success stories, next slide. They identify from all the completed projects, they identify these are all the students who went. All these students are in great positions because of this opportunity. So this is what it's called, International Urban and Regional Cooperation, IURC, for Sustainable Innovative Cities and Regions. So we mapped Trier, Germany to Chennai, and we selected Chengalpet district. Next slide. How it works. You can go and look at all this. Next slide. This was how we connected. Next. So these are success stories listed on their website. Next slide. And our project is also listed as a success story. So everything which is success story, automatically they will give you the next project, not even applying. Okay, it is just bootstrap. Next. This is a letter of annual event at Belgium. So Belgium is the annual event. So these are all pictures of the biogas. We did all this food waste from the hostel. This is the roof of our building, the solar plant. There's initiatives, water management, rainwater harvesting. Amount that we got for each of those projects, 9,000 euros, 8,000 euros. They funded everything, student exchange, totally 20,000 euros, I think. So don't think when oh, ma'am is talking something, it's not even achievable. It is so achievable. But you have to take that step forward. It will come to you. Okay, be very genuine. Be very genuine. Then I don't know how many of you use Scopus login to find your friends. You don't have to find your friend through Facebook or anything like that. Go to Scopus. Through the Scopus login, you try to find who's the closest researcher to you. Sometimes you don't have to find the closest researcher. You find a person who's not used AI. You may be good in AI and saying, why don't you link? So you don't have to really come together, two people working in hydrogen. Maybe you have two different technologies, you can come together. But that's what you have to deal with, people who are in your field and deal with people totally 180 degrees across your field. Okay, and then sit with Scopus and try to find good quality researchers. Don't end up with people who are retraction. Don't blindly believe top 2% scientists. There are genuine and there are fake. Publication is a big joke in India today. That's why at one point I was so demotivated, because if you see the list of publications, there are too many you doubt, oh, this person published all this. So I didn't want too many also. If you see my list, you must believe that, okay, she may have done it. So I thought, okay, let me have something in my profile where people cannot even doubt whether she would have done it. And that's why I thought, let me focus. And I did 5 DRDO projects back to back as a PI. You cannot do a DRDO project if you are not genuine, but you can publish papers today by paying money to agents and so on. So, so try to see that your profile is very transparent and clear, that only she could have done it that way. Applications are important, but keep it genuine. Don't look at somebody who's faking publications, because I know a lot of faculty when I was a dean, even top 2% scientists who can't convert it into a funded project because it's not their work. That's when you can actually find out whether a person is a genuine researcher or not. Only if you can translate your publications to something tangible through a funded project. So I only value, if you look at I look at profiles, anyone who's done a funded project, then he's a good researcher. That's not H index or whatever India actually considers. So I'll close with this. To working together, I think KCG faculty, we definitely want you all to be co-PIs, because it will be a very good, platform for you all to hop on and grow. So just reach out to us. We don't want to come and pester you and all this kind of thing. So reach out through Deepa. Reach out, put you in the right group. So that there are many proposals where we put a team. There's an option to put 2 co-PIs. We put one in our industry because one person leaves, we have a backup. So we'll put you as a second co-PI and in proposal. So step out of your comfort zone and get it. Even those from other universities also have all of you do well. Okay, so I'll stop here. That'll do, Deepa. I can stop here. Okay. I don't want to bore you beyond that, but then okay, so batteries. So is there anyone here who has utilized any fellowship, faculty fellowship? So I didn't touch upon fellowships, postdocs. There are huge opportunities. I think considering your age, you should all try for a fellowship, travel grants. All there are so many other things which is for individual faculty, for women. I think the previous speaker was talking about all this. Okay, so when I talk only common things because it should be of interest. But that and so, like one says, I think in sleep study or something. So I found a group in sleep study. In that, I found a group of women scientists in sleep study and so on. Okay, so you'll find a lot of, go deeper into that only, you'll be able to find your right match. Okay, so start today and be a good success story. What every time I was on the verge of getting an international thing, and I moved out of the university. Then at VIT again, I wrote a proposal, Indo-Taiwan. I gave it to my copia and came out, and the proposal got sanctioned. Every time I didn't get an international because I moved the institution at that right point. But fine, that's fine. But what I'm saying is, you should be able to tell your story. Today, I was telling somebody's story, but you should stand and tell your story. So thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much for that really out of the box. Your lecture was very interesting, and we could have an idea about the different international funding agencies, right? So it is up to us to explore further. So ma'am has given us the the guidelines where which website. I'll be sharing these slides also to all of you. You can explore it and take it to the next level. And okay, so since ma'am is with us, both of us have been trying our best to come up with joint publications with Hindustan and KCG College of Technology. So as I understand, all of you have newly joined with KCG and there are many external participants also. But those who are newly joined, please do aim for joint publications, joint research work with KCG, which our management really appreciates. And this year, we are planning for more than 100 joint publications with the Hindustan Institute of Technology and Science being a sister concern. So ma'am is very supportive and helpful, and let us make use of this opportunity and let us all give a big round of applause to our director research, who has taken her time and given her full energy and sincerity in delivering this lecture. Let us again appreciate ma'am by giving the, would be glad to offer you a memento as a token of gratitude. I request the coordinators also to join with us to present the memento. The coordinators are the lifeline of this faculty development program.
now be ready for the lunch break, and you can join back at 1:30 for the session. The speaker will be Dr. Malati Jagher, senior scientist from CLRI, will be joining us soon. Okay, thank you.